Hey, welcome to the lesson on using the midpoint formula. Our essential question for the lesson: how can we use the midpoint formula to solve problems? By the end of the lesson, you should be able to review the midpoint formula and apply the midpoint formula to solve problems. Common Core standards apply geometric concepts to model and solve real-world problems. Here we see the midpoint formula again. Now, the midpoint formula is used to find the midpoint of a line segment. So if I have two endpoints, 1 and 2, there's a point on that line. I'm going to try to draw as straight a line as possible. Let's pretend that's straight. The midpoint formula will find the point that is equidistant from both endpoints. So it is in the exact middle. It's the point that is the exact same distance from both endpoints. And so if we use the variables from the formula, this point to the left would be x1 and y1. And the one on the right would be, x2 and y2. So we're taking x1 and x2, we're adding them and we're dividing them too. Basically, we're finding the average of the 2 points, and then we do the same with the y value as well for the point. Here we have a problem. It says to find the midpoint between 6.43 and negative 10.74. So I'm going to use our formula, x1 plus x2 over 2, and y1 plus y2 over 2. That will be our midpoint. And so if we call this x1 and y1, and we'll call this x2 and y2. So we're going to substitute x1 into here, and you get 6.4. Remember to keep your signs, so negative 10.7 is x2, so that's what we put in there. So we're adding a negative 10.7. And then we have y1 is 3, and y2 is 4. And so you substitute those into the equation. 6.4 plus negative 10.7 will give us negative 4.3. 3 plus 4 is 7. And then you simply divide those values by 2 and you get your midpoint of the segment with endpoints 6.43 and negative 10.74. And so the midpoint is negative 2.1535. 3.5. So how can we use the midpoint formula to solve problems? Well, it will help us find the midpoint of any segment or any side of any polygon. So now we can use that information to help us classify and identify polygons. So make sure you, if you haven't already, pause the video, make sure you copy this formula down, keep it in your notes so that you can use it when you need it on the upcoming assignments. And next lesson we will be going into more depth about using the slope formula.